Katrina, so let's begin. Welcome everyone to the February 6th meeting of the Vernon Selectboard. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could you all just make sure you sign in tonight so we have an accurate record, because Katrina's not here and don't know if I'll be able to remember everybody. So, welcome. Do we have any public participation tonight? Okay, hearing none. I will defer the chairman's remarks, or not defer, but we'll skip over the chairman's remarks and move right to the approval of minutes for January 17th.
There was something about the, when we were doing the capital plan, but I keep reading it, and I don't see it yet. But something's not right there. But I can't find it. And for the life of me, I can't remember what I saw the first time, you know. See, I'm not sure if it, because it says House spoken agreement, that in agreement behalf of keeping, I don't know what that means, but I wasn't in agreement with anybody. What I said was if the townspeople voted on a 2-car last year, then that's what should go in the,
Yeah, that was just a discussion of whether or not we're going to put 2 or 3 in the capital plan.
Right, I remember that, but then I said that the 2 should go in because that's what the people voted for.
Exactly, and that's what we did.
Yeah, okay.
And that's reiterated on page 6 of 12.
I found it. Thank you. Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Howe?
you got any corrections, Bobby? I move that we accept the minutes of January 16th, was it? 17th, as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of January 17th as correct, as written. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
Okay. So, 3 ayes, 1 abstention from Mr. Ball. Okay. Now we have department head committee reports. Since the highway department's here, David, you want to begin?
Sure. All you need to do is ratify for the mileage certificate, because that's gone. Then the sand,
Well, let's ratify the
yes.
mileage first.
Yep. I move that we ratify the mileage certificate.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to ratify the mileage certificate. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the sand. Just to give the whole board a little bit of a synopsis of what happened. A resident of the town who happens to operate a plowing and sanding venture went and picked up some sand, and he was stopped by one of our police officers who told him that he cannot do that, that is illegal. So therefore, I asked Chris to talk to David to find out the exact specifications, and she talked to you. Additionally, Katrina went and found out what the procedures are in Brattleboro as well, because I drive by that sand pile every day, and I was just curious. So, from there, David, now you can begin.
well, Bruce came down and asked me, and last I knew, as long as it wasn't a motorized vehicle to load, that it was all right if they shoveled it on. That's how I thought it was last standing.
And if a person, just because a person has a motorized, say a sander on the back of their truck, and they're using it for their personal driveway, and they're loading it with a shovel, no harm, no foul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think it was, them coming down and bucket loading it into their trucks and stuff like that was the problem. Am I
What
correct?
if they come down with a tractor with a bucket, but they shovel it in by hand into the bucket?
The rule was no automated equipment.
That's right.
And you just said
Shovel.
for their own driveway.
But what would be the
That was-
difference if they're shoveling it into a bucket or shoveling it into their truck?
I don't think it wasn't meant for just solely for their own driveway if they were doing Vernon residence, correct, and not charging for it, right?
Not charging for it? Who would be
Well,
doing
if they're
other
doing it
people's-
for their relatives.
Yeah, they do it for their relatives and stuff like that.
It was,
Because I know elderly housing is different, elderly assistance is different, but I don't know where the fine line goes here.
it was to be not using motorized equipment, because before it was getting in the way of, because remember when they were using the bucket loader down back? It was at a period of time where we didn't have it where it is now, and it was strictly to be loaded with shovels into their personal vehicles and not to be used for for-profit ventures.
Yes.
Correct.
So,
Person's using it for his own use and shoveling in with hand shovels, nothing wrong.
that's why I asked, what if it's not? What if it is for people's driveways?
If
That's
it's
why I'm trying to get that
for-profit, if
answer out there
person
so it's
is-
plain and simple.
Is doing it as a business, no.
Yes. Yeah, because you're not supposed to charge the Vernon residents. And the reason why we let the elderly assistance is because it's to help the people in Vernon, correct?
They're still making money on it.
I was
No,
going to say,
they
it's still
don't.
a business.
Yeah.
Well, of course, this year you said that he was going elsewhere, correct? Yeah.
Why would anybody be going out and doing it on a regular basis instead of just on an just somebody call up and, hey, I can't get out, and would you take a bucket over?
No, I didn't say I wasn't in agreement. I'm just saying we need to get this out so that it's very, basic and very clear for people to understand, so that we do not run into this problem again. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean? Because they keep coming back and
I
they keep...
thought it was really clear the last time.
Well, it was, but apparently not clear enough. Right?
It wasn't clear enough, but it's like black and white.
I know, exactly. Exactly, I'm just saying, it needs to...
If they're not charging and they're shoveling it with a shovel, then it's all right. That's pretty much the bottom line.
The only thing is, on top of that is that what Brattleboro said, no, just hear me out.
Okay.
This is self-revealing, intuitively obvious,
No,
special
it was
observer,
Bobby's statement.
is that the people with out-of-state plates in Brattleboro, if they see people with out-of-state plates, they will stop them. I mean, that's like, yeah.
Yeah. No, because the fellow that did it has a business, but he does it for nothing.
He drops the sand for nothing. but
Well, he was
plows.
doing that for nothing.
Yes.
Right.
Dropping the sand for nothing.
I think he charges for
Plowing.
his
Plowing.
business people, and he goes to Sosimo and
Well,
gets
now he does.
loaded up.
Now he goes to Sosimo, but you gotta specify.
So are we clear? I mean, is it clear to everyone here?
You know, I don't mean to appear stupid. However, you're still not making it clear enough. First you say nobody with a business.
No,
No,
we didn't say that.
Nobody can use it for business purposes.
Purposes. All right, I
Make
just
it
want
money.
that plain and simple and clear for everybody to hear. I'm fine with it.
So why don't we put up a nice laminated sign on the edge there that says exactly what we just said?
We got one that's not for commercial use.
Yeah, David's got that
Already.
up there.
And there was just in hand shoveling, because you could have somebody who happens to have a nice tractor, comes down and, is going to use it for his own personal property, and comes down and gets a scoop and,
Well, I've seen a tractor with a bucket, but they were shoveling it with a shovel.
But I
They
think
just shoveled it into the bucket to take it home.
I think you're referring to, if I'm correct, they're just loading the bucket with sand. They're
Right.
not
Right.
loading the bucket and then
Then
pouring it
into
in
a
a
truck.
truck.
Right.
And
No,
loading the
they're
bucket
just
again.
loading the
Right.
bucket and taking it back to the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine.
I just wanted to make it absolutely clear, not for us so much, but for those that are trying to.
So, and then who's let Bruce know?
You already did that, right?
Yeah.
Well-
Bruce talked.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked. He was down there that day when the person came back.
That's-
The only other thing I got, just so everybody's aware, Central Park.
Yes. I'm
We-
glad you brought that up.
We will be paying for the runoff off the roads.
I guess that's not what I was thinking about.
yeah.
Okay.
Remember that culvert deal we had last year?
We were supposed, remember, you did not accept the taking on any more with Central Park because they had not put into the deeds.
We will only have the roads. It's going to be a split.
Okay.
My guess, they'll be tried again in a couple of years.
No, they're trying it now.
Well, the state only wants the roads, and the letter that I have here breaks it down.
Okay, that's not, I thought there was
Okay, then
another
they're going
letter
around-
from Sir Sosmo
Oh,
stating
well,
the
there
same-
might be, but I'm going from the state and dealing with her.
I think there
Okay.
was.
And the only caveat could be is that we basically put a note which says is that nothing additional will ever be considered until all of the deeds are brought up to spec, giving us the access that we need.
Actually, just let them, because they'll be paying, the Sosmo has to pay for the runoff off the roof and stuff. We'll just do, because we took the roads over, we're going to have the roads,
Okay.
as far as the state's concerned. But they are trying to pull, because I couldn't get back a hold of Sarah today, I got a hold of Ryan for the state, and Sososmo has to go good for what they missed. See, that's how it came about again. They didn't pay it again. And they didn't do the annual paperwork from 2010 or 11.
State can run them to the ground.
So when I talked to Ryan, I'm not supposed to hand that in to Sososmo until they pay the state. So then we'll become cold, so November.
So do our attorneys need to respond to Sososmo, or will this cover it?
That should cover us with the state and everything. So if you want the attorneys to look at it.
Well, there was paperwork from Sososmo, and I thought Sandy sent that down to you.
I just got stuff from the state and that from
All
Sarah.
right, I'll check with that. I think,
I've got everything from Ryan.
based on our conversation, though, this should be something simple enough where Richard can just pull off a copy of the letter he sent last year and change the date and send it again.
Yep.
All right, I'll look for that paperwork. I was sure Sandy said she sent it to you.
Well, did it come from Sososmo or from?
Yeah, directly from Sososmo.
Because I got everything from Ryan McCall from the state. And he was in contact with Sarah. And I talked to Matei about that, and he said, no, that's not what the agreement was.
All right, so where were you going with the runoff then?
That we'll just have the roads, we
Okay.
won't have none of the ponds. But I am trying to find out, because every 3 years you gotta have an engineer go up. And just go over the culverts that we got and everything.
And where does that fall in this present timeline?
Ryan was gonna look everything up and get back to me,
Okay.
because he was quite shocked when he found out what they were trying to do and what was discussed.
I thought it would only be, as far as you're looking, the engineer is taking a look because ground settles, it changes, and stuff gets plugged, and, as
Just
far
make
as the
sure it's-
runoff, the settling ponds are in, and all the culverts and the runoff are in,
We'll have the culverts on the roads and everything.
oh, you're taking the culverts.
Well, under the roads.
Onto the roads, not necessarily the ditches.
Right,
that's-
right.
Okay.
That- It's gonna be confusing for a little bit.
Because this says a little bit, it says, once the attached form is signed by the town, please provide us with a copy of the document, and Sososmo will mail it its portion of the fees. And then the original signature document fee should be mailed to Michelle. He was saying, don't do anything with it until Sososmo basically
Pays
does their,
what they're
and
behind
gets
on.
their paperwork up to speed.
Yep, so I'm gonna hold that, and I just figured I'd let everybody know. And I'll see Sandy.
So do you want me to move forward with Richard, or do you want to wait?
Well, I can wait and find out what Ryan finds out.
Okay. Let me
Because
know.
when we talked before, it really came down to, how do you gain access if the deeds hadn't been brought up to speed?
Right.
But since this isn't with that, and it's only that portion that
This is
you could
everything.
touch base with them, but, it's really pretty much not an issue.
All right, I'm going to have to drag down that paperwork and just verify that.
Because we were deeded the roads. Unfortunately.
Well, let me find that. You saw it, right?
I did.
Anything else?
That's it.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Under department head committee reports, now we have some police department topics. Mary Beth was invited. Unfortunately, she would not be able to make it tonight. I'd like to start out with the topic of the neighborhood watch. At the last meeting, it was brought up that a resident was working with a member of the select board to sort of incorporate a neighborhood watch within Vernon. Now, that resident has taken it upon himself to contact our police department, the state police department, the Sheriff's Department, the Brattleboro Police Department to talk about their program. They've researched the Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns to get additional information as well as grant opportunities. And a meeting was scheduled supposedly for tomorrow night in which members of the Guilford Select Board would participate as well, because the area that was being targeted was both in Vernon and Greenfield for one of the first neighborhood watches. Since that time,
Vernon and Greenfield or Vernon and Guilford?
Guilford, did I say Greenfield?
You did.
I apologize, I meant Guilford. Since that meeting was scheduled, the state police and the sheriff's department have dropped out, and I just learned today that none of our police departments or none of our police officers would be able to participate either. Now, I think, I can't speak for everyone here, but from the conversations I've had with most of us, we're all think that this is a very good idea and would be beneficial to the town. My question is, how can we move forward with something like this? And I know police department participation is important, but I'd like to get this thing off the ground and moving if the board so chooses to do so.
Do we need do we need the police, local or otherwise?
Well, we're not going to have a bunch of vigilantes. I mean, this is a neighborhood watch.
Oh,
so
damn, there goes that shotgun.
They would work with the police department, so I think police department participation is
Yeah.
important.
I think that we should get her on board with us. I do. But I think it's a fabulous idea. I don't think just in one neighborhood, but in all neighborhoods in Vernon. But I don't know. I don't know how to move forward
Is
without the
Patty-
police department.
Well, just for tomorrow night, is Patty back?
No.
No.
If Patty's not back, I know I have my EMT refresher that I need to be at.
I have someplace to go. I have
And so
prior
is
book
anybody
club
here
thing, and I'm
going
not
to be?
missing it.
Because in order to have the meeting,
Oh, that's right. He's going to be in Dartmouth, so
in order to have a meeting, it's either the police department, it had to be an official function sponsored by either a department or the select board. If none of the select board members can make it, and the police department's not going to be there, then we can't use the town hall. I'm not trying to be nitpicky, I'm just saying that's how the approval had come through in the first place.
what's what, through the police
the
department?
police.
What about a different department? What if,
If it was sponsored by a different department, it could still be held.
Well, I guess, how would we do this without, I mean, the goal of last night's, or tomorrow night's meeting was to get some input from the police department, how this could be implemented, and how it would work between towns, correct? So if the police department's not going to show up, would this meeting be beneficial and helpful?
It started out, or I started it out as just Broadbrook Road, right? Because there is quite a bit of break-ins, quite a bit of vandalism up there, right? That was all fine, and it was like making a snowball. The more you roll it, the bigger it got. Had more people interested in it. My idea was to concentrate on Broadbrook Road at tomorrow night's meeting, right? You know, and then, if I can say it the right way, I hope it comes out the right way. It'd be like an information type of deal that, and get a feeling, is there anybody that's really interested in putting this thing together? And it was like a maze to try to get through everything, to find the right people, you know, to like get grants and how to get this thing started, you know, where you apply for it, all this. Since that time, I don't like saying it this way, but the police department took a negative attitude towards it. And I was told today that she would work with anybody on Broadbrook Road, but she didn't want to play my game. I wasn't playing a game. I was trying to get the information out there, because I think being proactive about this thing, you get involved in it and it helps everybody. I have a particular guy that I'm really worried about up on Broad Brook. He's 86 years old. His trailer's been broken into. His car's been broken into. They've been investigating it and stuff. He's now, he's living down in North Carolina for the winter. When he comes back, how does he, I don't know, feel safe about everything? And I don't know. That's, if I need to just back out of this thing, that's what I'll do. But I really believe that this is something that is a good thing. It's a positive thing. That if the town wants it, I think it should go forward. I mean, there's grant money available, so price-wise, money-wise is not it.
I think it's,
David, you were looking at the signs. Are the signs that we currently have legal in terms of
We
the
have
new?
the new ones.
Okay.
We have the new retro.
So
For
that's,
signs, posts, as long as we can use the
Oh,
18 by 24, 82, was it 82 something, Tom?
Hey,
It was right around 83.
somewhere around here, yeah.
That's everything, post, all.
Per sign.
That's per sign put up. If we gotta go to a bigger or a bigger sign, it'll be a little bit more, but that's.
and that's what the grant money would
No,
cover.
that didn't
is
include the
probably
labor, that's
purchasing the
Signs
signs
and- yeah.
and stuff like that.
Paperwork. The
Right.
Brattleboro package is, Tom had a really good idea that I've used in the past with some of my trash stuff. The package that he got from the Brattleboro people had coloring books in it and stuff that would
Oh, yeah.
interest, elementary school children, and we could pass out packages to the school and have them bring it home to their parents. The package that he showed me from Brattleboro has this really neat little LED laser light. I mean, there's this whole package to get people involved, and I think the grant money would cover a lot of that, plus the signage. And other than that, I really don't see any overhead to it.
So why don't somebody work on this grant money, get that stuff together, and then once you get all of the
Well, the grant money would have
signs
to
and
probably
things.
That
then
comes
you
after.
have
the
to have
entire
a meeting.
town.
right.
What you want to do is
For the whole
stir
town.
interest in the entire town, because
I'd like to
it's a
say
good
something.
idea, it's a good program. What it does is, it raises awareness, so across the board. And it doesn't matter whether it's awareness about people skulking about. It's also about raising awareness, and the fact is that you see some newspapers on a person's porch that normally is active, and you realize, so instead of having it basically, well, the police found that a welfare check after 10 days of not seeing this person, and they were dead. 10 days is too long for it to go. You really need to be, it's all about awareness of what's going around you.
Absolutely.
Can't hear you.
Oh, it's all about awareness of what's going on around you within the community. And that goes across the board in all of the community. And it's not just about the police. It's about fire. It's about
The rest,
EMS. It's about how do you basically watch out for other people. Because when you're watching out for other people are watching out for you. So it goes all the way around. So it really is a neighborhood watch, and it's the whole town. And that's what it should be involved with. And because you could get, the fire department's going to get involved, the police department should be involved, road crew's going to get involved. It's all about, and the individual people within the community. I think a great time to launch it would be have informational packets for town meeting day, so that everybody that comes to town meeting gets a copy of it. And we put it on the website, that same informational package, so people can then go on the website. And we also have informational packets at the library and town hall, so that it's across the board how we're going to do it. And it's not just about Broadbrook, it's about the entire community. And when
Absolutely.
the entire community's behind it, you're going to get the funding, you're going to get the grants, and
I agree.
the whole community gets behind it and works on it. And I think it's a great idea, but it applies to the entire town.
Chris?
Well, the only thing I was going to say, and probably now is not the proper place to say it, but the thing is that he said that it got all confused and, you know, and this and that. And quite frankly, the reason why it did that was because you tried to involve too many people. One person was trying to help you, and you should have stuck with that one instead of this one and that one and that. I think that if we as, am I correct?
No, I don't know.
Oh, you said something, so I don't know. But us as the select board, I think that we should, you know, appoint a person, or you know, to help to work for him to work with, a go-to person, instead of, you know, 50 him calling me or him calling you or him calling you. You got one person from the board that he talks with, right? And
Not to stop you, but in that package, it says something about a liaison, you know, having a liaison set
right,
up.
yeah,
You know,
because that's what you need, is one go-to person.
yes.
Now, and then that person worked with the police, the EMS, the fire, and so on and so forth. And I think that would be the way to fly, not just haphazardly, just going randomly trying to get this done. And if I flail my arms one more time, slap me, because it looks really bad on TV. But yeah, that's kind of my idea. What do you think?
That is a great idea, because, like I said, I got into this blind, and did I make mistakes? Yeah.
We all do,
Yeah.
no matter what. But I'm just saying,
But-
that's what you need, is one person to go to.
The thing is what I was trying to do is go through all the stumbles, so if you wanted to go through it, you know, in other words, if you wanted to set up a watch party.
I might not be here, so
You know,
I'm not gonna, but, yeah. No, I think you're doing a fabulous job, Tom. I telling you, I really think this is a great idea. I'm right on board with you. I really
Where
am.
Tom is going is he tried to target an area where there's a problem right now. And if we could get it implemented there,
Yep.
work out the kinks, then we can move
I
it to the
think-
next
yep.
area,
Yep.
and so forth and so forth. But Mike brings a valid point to the table. Why not start with the whole town?
Sure. Yep.
There's gotta be paperwork down there somewhere, because Dennis Johnson did it in the areas back in the
Yes,
police
I
chief.
remember that.
There's still a sign up on Newton Hills,
it's one up on Franklin Road, too.
is there? There was certain areas that the people got together once a month or whatever and met about this. So it is out there.
See, that's, like you said, that's something we could announce at town meeting and have people, you know, be aware of it like that.
I'll go over and talk to Mary Beth sometime this week.
All right. Do you think we can put this on hold for a week or so until town meeting, and then do a town-wide media blitz?
Yeah, because you may have a whole change of the board, and I think that you should start anew after, you know,
Well, I'm thinking more along the lines of getting involvement with the police department before we start having our informational meeting and start saying things that,
Well, you know, like I
it's
said.
your call, because you've announced this first meeting.
You know, like I said, I made mistakes, right? And then people come to me and say, you know, how do you do this? Herb Myers for one over here in Guilford, all right? Yeah, I want to include my, you know, section because it's close to Broadbrook, all right? So my idea was, if I could get some information out, find out who is interested in it. You know, is there a real interest in this, or is it just something that I want to see happen, you know, for my neighborhood?
What does, like, say I want to do it for Pond Road and West Road, just in my little neighborhood, would there be a spokesman like, such as myself, that would start it, like Tom starting it for his road, and then for Newton Road communities? Would it be a person from there that starts it, or is it a select board liaison? I mean, what would?
No, it can't be that way. If you don't have involvement of each individual person on the
Yeah.
road,
Yeah,
it's not top driven, it's from the bottom up. It's the citizen driven for that area of the community. I know for Basin
That's what I'm
Road, we would just
asking.
Yeah.
send out a meeting notice. We
I
get
never saw
together
it.
once a year anyway for a New Year's Eve party. So,
In your
we've done it
neighborhood only?
Every year. We've done it for 20.
I'm moving up there in the basin.
I'm just down.
I want a party.
It's just Basin Road.
Oh, that's right.
So what?
You're close.
But we just would talk amongst ourselves, and as far as a community watch, we're already doing that as it is now. People watch out for their neighbors, and we dog sit or cat sit our neighbors' dogs, and we've got a sense of community. It's about getting involvement within the community, your own smaller community, and getting those people involved, because it's not about the select board saying, we're gonna have
No.
a neighborhood watch. It's about those people volunteering to
what
basically
I'm-
be aware of who's driving up the road. Who's going up the road, what time of night. If somebody fires and discharges a gun at night, I'm on the phone with Vermont State Police saying, I want you to log a gunshot at this time, it just occurred. So that if somebody's found out in the woods, it's already on record of what time the gunshot was. That's the type of level you've got to go to.
Yes, but maybe I can step back just a little bit, if I could, is that we need to have, I think, I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong, all right? We need to have some kind of a meeting where we can, maybe the wrong word, educate everybody, that wants to be involved in it, of what to look for. That's like on Broadbrook, all right? I've got people walking around now with a piece of paper and a pen in their pocket to write down plate numbers and stuff. This is something that never happened before. They never
You're
even
already
thought
doing
about
it then,
doing it.
actually.
You plant, to me, if you plant an idea into somebody, all right, it'll grow. If there's any hope at all, it'll grow. The other part that really scared me is there's I guess it was right around Christmas time, somebody down in Connecticut put ashes in a paper bag, put it in the back of the house. The house burnt down, killed 5 people. Why? Because the people didn't. I'm not saying they're stupid. The people never thought about it, never were trained that you don't put it in paper bags and put it in your porch.
Oh, that's stupid.
Well,
I'm sorry, but it is.
no, I mean, I used to be that way too, saying stupid, but I can't say that anymore, because if they're not, if the ideas are not put into it. And yes, I agree with you about like fire department, because I've talked to them. They're willing to, put on some kind of a forum or whatever you would like to call it. I've talked to rescue. He is all for it. But I didn't want to put too much into one package at one time. I wanted to try to get the ball rolling and, then have a little bit more meetings. So this way, maybe I'm wrong. If I can get you involved in it personally, you'll have a whole lot more incentive to do more and more and more. All right? The other thing is, we have, maybe it's not just Broadbrook, but because I live in Broadbrook, we have a lot of, I guess you'd call it
That makes
seasonal
me
houses or secondary houses, where there's tenants that are not there. And if we explain it to them,
Don't cut back.
it helps a lot.
That's bad. I'm sick of it.
The more education you get out of here, and like I say, I apologize that it snowballed.
No need to apologize. I think you did a great job.
And I think it's snowballed because it's a good idea,
Yep.
and it's a worthwhile idea, and it's something that this town should look into.
But you need a liaison.
I don't know, you want to put off tomorrow's meeting?
Well, I was just
I have
hoping,
no problem, but
I'm hoping, or my thought process was that we would have someone there who could answer those questions that you just posed.
Yeah. You have
And
nobody.
without a professional in there, who's going to answer those questions? Would it create more questions not to have somebody there, or?
well, I thought about that 2 ways too. All right, That's why I try to set it up, Sheriff's Department, State Police, and the Vernon PD, all right? But if they're not gonna go there, then we can't put out any information. But if we still held it, in other words, hoping like maybe somebody from the select board could go there tomorrow night and find out how many people are really interested in this. If they're really interested in it, or is it just us people in this room here? I mean, if there's more than us in this room here, then if it saves one person getting hurt, never mind killed, just getting hurt, then it's well worth it.
Or robbed.
Even if there wasn't grant money, I would gladly pay more in my taxes if I could feel that much safer in my home.
Well, at this point, the article in the paper didn't have a date in it, did it?
I believe it did.
It did?
I don't know.
I don't recall.
I don't read the paper,
Um,
so I don't know.
I can have somebody there.
Not to call the meeting off, but if you don't have your police, somebody from the police department, fire department, highway department, who's going to answer the questions? They've got to be there to answer the questions that people may have on what they should do if something should occur.
If I may, the state police, informed me that what would fit on Broadbrook are not the same problems. I'll pick on Pond Road.
Thanks.
Yeah, they're not the same problems on Pond Road. Basically they are, but we'll say that Pond Road has more of a speeding problem,
Oh, well, that's
but
true.
Broadbrook has, we'll say, dumping and, vandalism and stuff like this. So what they wanted to do is concentrate just in small groups to, how would you put it? In other words, design a program just for your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Now, who was that? That was the state police?
yeah.
Is that why we would involve other police departments? I mean, we have our own PD. Why would we go out to sheriffs and state?
Because Broadbrook
Is that an
covered-
honest question?
Is covered from Vernon, but the other side is state police and sheriff's department.
Ah,
That's why Tom got them.
That's why I
All
say,
right.
no offense meant, but Broadbrook is different.
I'm Chris.
I think
I'm just wondering, because I didn't.
we're falling
Now,
behind on the schedule now.
Yeah, but you put that in there.
I think the point you raise is a valid point, that having a meeting without the people there might cause more confusion in this whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have a valid point as well, determining how many people really want to see a program like this. And I think we can answer that question in a number of different ways. A, people are going to see it on TV, and if they're interested, they can respond to any select board member. B, Chris is putting out a paper within 2 weeks. We can put a big one-page ad in there that says, are you interested in participating in a Vernon Watch program newly forming in Vernon? And we can get respondents that way. And then C, we can bring it up in town meeting. And if we can get, not even if we can get a bunch of people, but if we can get community support for this, then we can move forward with it. And once we've got community support with this, we can get the state police in here, we can get the sheriff's department in here, and we can get our police department on it.
So the reformer did say the meeting is at February 7th at 6:30 p.m. at the Vernon Town offices.
Yeah, but that could be easily called right up, and WTSA put it right on there.
Yep, I'm just saying there was
So
a
people
question.
could be going. So what's the board's feeling on this?
I can't go. I already have a every Tuesday night commitment, so I can't go, but I wouldn't mind him go ahead and having it. See how many people are involved. You can't learn anything from it. You can't be, to use your terms, educated, because you don't have the law enforcement, highway or EMS or EMTs, which is it? And,
Yes.
My fear, though, is if we don't have that education there, people will be frustrated and not want to participate when we do have the education
I'm
there.
only one, so.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't want to hold this back. I think, like I said, it's a wonderful idea, and it should be something we pursue. I'm just at a quandary as to how to do it.
Well, that was my idea of taking the ball and throwing it at you.
But
We
you're
should
right too, as
postpone
far
it
as if they're
to a
not
different
there, that's what we
night.
were gonna use the,
Put it on TSA that we're doing that,
I would cancel
and
it
then get it into your paper, the new night. We'll get the police on board,
Yep.
and the fire EMS.
He can't hear you, so you better explain it to him.
Bobby just proposed that we postpone it tomorrow. We get publications in Chris's paper. We get police on board. We get fire and EMS, and we have a meeting with everybody involved.
You get with me and you and I'll do a poster together, stick it in the paper, how's that?
Thank you.
And
Okay?
Chris will call WTSA tomorrow and just say that it's been postponed till a later date this month. Is that acceptable?
Very much, very much.
Good.
I appreciate your support, I really do.
I think it's a wonderful idea, and I appreciate you guys bringing this up. It's something this town could really use.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask that we go out of order to take the treasurer now.
Yeah.
It's been moved and seconded to go out of order to the treasurer's report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Can I show this to,
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
thank you, Tom.
Are you willing to do that?
Yeah. I've already seen these. In one of these here, I noticed that a police cruiser was towed from the from the town hall here. Does anybody know why? I understand that they had an accident in
No.
Guilford. Is it, you guys been,
I was not aware of that until you brought it
That's
to my
not why it
attention.
was towed.
Is this the Tahoe?
The Tahoe's had an accident,
Yep.
but not in Guilford, it was on 142.
Or was it over by the
Up by the church,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
They
When was
ended
that?
up running into,
It was one of those icy nights.
yeah, and it was basically, I think the insurance was notified.
No one
No?
told me a word, no one said anything to me.
and how long ago it was? An icy night? What, maybe
We
Yeah,
saw
A
the
week
towing
ago?
bill. We were not alerted.
72 hours you
We
need
still have
notification?
nothing.
And you would be the only person that would make that call to the insurance people.
Yep.
What I would do would be to get the police department an accident report to fill out for VLCT, which is on the website.
that's
So
great.
So no accident report was filled out.
They might be gonna just fix it out of their budget because it's not that bad.
You've got to report an
gotta-
accident. That's a law, isn't it?
No.
They would
it doesn't.
report it to themselves.
But the person driving should have filled out an accident report form for their own well-being.
And as far as
Correct.
I understand
I
it,
did
Bobby,
get a
it's the whole
first
front
reported
end,
Injury. I don't know if that was the person who was
not just a
involved.
MS.
bump in the road. It was the whole front end.
Slipped and fell wasn't
No. And it really is, it's the bumper, because I looked at it pretty closely, it's just the bumper, and it looks like the front end is stove in, but it's really just the bar on the front, the pusher bars. I should have said something, and the only thing that's happened was that it was intuitive, it was, to me, it would have been reported to you no matter what, and that's something I think that the board needs to do, is to provide direction that any accident, no matter how small, is reported to the town, to the human resources.
I would have thought that was
Yeah.
probably a given.
I thought so too. And I would suggest that we make that a motion after that we come out. Well, what would you do, Barry?
Notify Sally.
So if there was
Exactly.
damage to a vehicle, you,
Notify the insurance.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, then I make that a motion.
second, if it's appropriate for right now.
Yeah, it's been moved and seconded that anytime there is an accident, the department head will notify the human resources person. Fill out an accident report and any insurance claims that would need to be filled out. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I need another one on that one.
What was the record bill for then? It wasn't,
No,
I haven't seen
it's coming.
Getting to it. I think it was on the trailer.
Sally, I'm sorry. It's like a fly in there. Wow. Yeah. It's a Marlboro, something or other. He's got it. Marlboro Collision. And it is in Guilford. It's pull out on Stage Road, Sweets Pond Road. And it doesn't say which cruiser it is, but that's Guilford.
So that's another one.
And the other one with the grill gone and everything hasn't even been reported anywhere. So now you got two cruisers.
Where is that?
It's Sweets Pond Road, Stage Road. It's out in, where Algiers is. You go out that road, then toward Weatherhead Hollow Road. Am I correct?
all the way to the end.
All the way to the end.
Past Grange Hall.
Yep, Sweets Pond Road.
Yep.
Yep.
I guess out where the officer lives.
Oh,
Out that way.
well, why would the cruiser be at the officer's home?
Because he was probably on call. And we had agreed that it would allow the officer to take the cruiser home, but at the same time...
When did we do that?
Oh, God, that was long.
Must have been 2009,
2004.
because in 2008, we said no. No officer was to take the cruisers home.
Really?
That's right. We did. I was on the board first year.
Even if I would
because
have...
there was a cruiser going to Putney every day.
Yeah, that was one thing, but that person isn't going to be responding on call
I need
in
that.
Code A from Putney.
This needs to be.
Whereas if somebody was home and they were needed in the middle of the
Yeah, I need that
night,
over here.
You know
which
anything about
happens,
that?
then they respond. So if they were on call, that's one thing.
I knew that there was a flat tire or something there.
Why would it need to be towed?
It was a pullout.
No, it's a pullout. This
No,
is says.
this is an entirely different one than I'm talking about.
Oh. Because this is a pullout. They got
I don't think it
off the
got
road
towed.
somehow.
But I don't think there's a spare in that here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of new guys don't want to spares.
It is the same officer, yes.
So that one's bigger.
This goes with that. What's this?
Those are the police statistics for the month.
Oh. Oh. have to talk with you about that.
This is yours?
Yes. This whole pile's mine. Get your own pile.
Looks like the same old pile, just a different day.
It is exactly what it is. Yep. It's the same piles that keep going on every day. Build up. This parade and stuff, these are just suggestions that we haven't, these haven't gone to the attorney or
No,
anything,
they
right?
haven't. She said she found an existing ordinance that was
Yeah, well, we
signed
had
in
that.
1978.
Yeah, I know that, we had that.
Or 1987, excuse me.
Yeah, I had seen that one.
And these in red are changes to coincide with what Richard wrote.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And the,
Did you see this? Oh, Sally, I have a bill for
Oh, yeah. Did we all notice that Katrina wrote us up an administrative report on every item on the agenda? Which is so very helpful.
Her email. She wrote in her email that she did that for us.
Yeah. I totally forgot it. The age.
yeah, as a matter, as I reminded them after the first January meeting, I think. Statistics.
Oh, yes. Good.
No.
Give that to Sally.
What, this?
No. The bill.
Oh.
This is really fire. Mike, on this bill, library, is that billing to the town or to the library?
I think it should go to the library personally, but I haven't discussed that with them. I will call them tomorrow.
Because it's a little bit confusing. Is there an ordinance that goes along with the library, do you know?
An
It
ordinance?
says draft ordinance, then email correspondence, phone conference,
Now
comments
you
with
tell your name
Carolyn.
first, give them a pen.
So I
You
don't,
write their name first thing?
they're billing a bunch of things, do you think that way?
Yeah, because the ordinance is the parade ordinance. Yea or nay?
It's her money.
What's that? It's okay? You're okay with that?
they won't do nothing any different than what they're doing.
Well, I think it would be unfair for the other, huh? Assistants, don't you?
Well, not really, because
We have to
Can you
discuss.
can you doc send that and send it to me tomorrow and I'll get clarification?
Yeah, there's a bunch of things I'm going to send with clarification on it.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Miller,
I move that we approve warrants 16 SG, accounts payable, $81,668.86. 3S, payroll, $14,814.16. 4S, payroll, $12,291.05. 5S, payroll, $11,133.59.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to approve warrants 16 SG, accounts payable in the amount of $81,668.86. 3S payroll in the amount of $14,814.16. 4S payroll in the amount of $12,291.05. And 5S payroll in the amount of $11,133.59. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So I think you all got my email about the lack of placing the copying in any budget. And so that's going to have to be amended at town meeting. And I'm wondering where we're going to put it. That was my original question.
What do you mean, where we're gonna put it?
Where was
What
it
budget?
before?
It's for the copying of the town
But,
records.
but where was it before?
It was in an appropriation before.
If you put it in the select board budget, then it can either be used for your budget or for the town clerks.
That's what I'm thinking, that
Yeah,
it's
I
really
think
the
so, too.
town records, it's not a particular person.
Mhm.
And it also, when it comes under our budget, then it tends to help arbitrate issues between, that might come up in the future.
Mhm. I agree.
So we'll work that into that last,
Will you be able to have a handout for people?
Don't
Or
need
at least
one.
the select board.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you guys do.
Reminder.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, because if you don't,
We just don't want to forget.
it'll go right over. I mean, it'll
Yeah,
be
it's not gonna
forgotten.
go over, because it definitely, I mean, I'm not gonna forget to.
But-
Who's doing that last?
It-
The amount of
you-
money?
You, for yours,
Yeah,
I believe that's you.
because I haven't done it for the last 2 years.
I have it here somewhere.
It's in the minutes.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yep.
I saw it
It's,
somewhere.
Article 30, which one article is that?
33.
Sally Brasser.
Yeah.
Okay. I prefer not to do it, but,
By popular demand.
yeah.
If you don't want to do it, then,
The reason I don't is because it's your budget.
right,
The whole budget really is yours.
right. I know, because then it keeps, there's no perception of inappropriate perceptions.
I know, but the town treasurer's always done that, correct?
I did it early on, and then I begged out and felt that the board should.
Well, if you,
All of the
if you
articles.
don't want to, I don't mind doing that, as long as you give me a, exactly how I should say that, to bring that into the general fund,
Yeah.
and everything. I don't mind
It'll be
saying
after,
it.
you're gonna just read it, and then you would say, Mr. Speaker, Mr.
Yeah,
Moderator.
yeah, the,
So I can do that part.
okay.
But I think, personally, that's my feeling. I think it's better for the board to do their articles, just like the school board does. They do all of theirs, and people speak to it, but it's their budget. and it's-
Okay, so, yes, you will do Article 33, or no?
No.
I will? Okay.
I think I'll probably be questioned anyway, but
Well, of course, yeah. Okay.
I think the reading should be yours.
Yeah, no, I don't mind doing that.
You know, the bigger concern is that school generator.
So that's the capital plan. So I would say that would be amended during the capital plan
Mhm.
time, and maybe is
Yeah,
Sheldon aware
absolutely.
of that?
I don't
Yeah.
know about that.
They should be.
I didn't tell him.
When did that come
I
up?
didn't either, but I would thought that they would know.
When did it come up, and where did the new amount come up, and how was that
Well, the
derived?
25,000 is not for the generator, it's for the installation.
So we have
So they
the
got.
original part that was done with the pad and the breaker
Mhm.
is, we had the breaker, and then we're gonna buy the generator, and that's in the capital plan, but we need an additional 25,000 in order to install and put everything together.
Yes.
Okay. Then it would, yeah, that would be done during the capital plan. And Sheldon needs to know that,
Okay.
Yeah.
because otherwise his presentation will be disjointed. And he doesn't like it being disjointed.
Yeah, he'd like to, I'm sure,
No.
have it on.
It's good at what he does, too.
All right, I'll take care of that.
That's it for me.
And wasn't there something else that you had for us about the payroll? Doc send money, or not
Well,
doc send?
that's what that was.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that. I meant, you sent us an email.
Oh, yeah, about Matthew.
Oh, yeah, that's not on the agenda because I didn't get it on the agenda.
Okay, well,
Um,
I did you sent me something too, because Mike talked to you.
Yeah.
I did the research, or Katrina did the research, I shouldn't say. And the actual motion was, as you and Phyllis told us, that
Yeah,
at the end of his probationary period, he would go up to the
which will be the
minimal
9th.
tier.
Yeah, which will be the 9th of February, and I plan to do it. Mike wondered if there was anything that you needed from him. You know,
As long
far
as he
as
is
his
successfully-
He's satisfied.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's why.
for
that's why-
formality, there should be,
Something to the human resources.
yeah, to say is that he's been,
Successfully completed his
Yeah.
probation.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then that would be put in his
He's
record.
quite happy.
Well, that would go to Sally, but we don't need to get it.
Right.
But he would formally do that. Yeah, I absolutely agree with there.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Was that what you were referring to?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, if we could go back into order. Animal Control Officer. There is a section in your packets regarding Mary Beth's recommendations.
Yes. I don't know if I can find it again. I was reading it.
I think it looks pretty good, a recommendation.
First one up.
Yep, thank you.
It does.
It looks like you recommended it, Bobby. It says Bob Miller on there.
So,
No, I didn't recommend it, I talked to her.
so unless we want to go into further detail, there is a question regarding the housing behind. The temporary housing behind the highway department may be problematic. Now, were you involved in that discussion, or is this news to you?
I was involved in it, but you guys were involved when I asked you if we could get rid of it, because it was rotten.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right.
It's wherever Norm trucked it.
So, I mean, in the event we spent $1,000 for another cage, would it be okay to put it back down there, or would new places need to be found, or what?
If we go with the person that we were going to go with, I think they have their own kennel and don't mind housing them there. That way I think it would be, it's up to anybody, I don't care, but my opinion would be it would be a place where somebody's there, won't have to go anywhere to go feed and water the animal. The animal won't be, particularly alone.
It should be temporary anyway.
And it's away from their house, but it's there in that area.
What about
Other neighbors?
liability?
Excuse me?
Neighbors?
They don't have neighbors. They have the mountains and the woods.
I might be their closest neighbor.
Exactly.
So Bobby will take them.
There you go.
Watch 'em look
We could
out.
put them halfway in between.
Yeah.
But she has her own, I know that she has her own, yeah.
We'd have to determine if that would be a liability or not. I'm all for
Well, she would be protected.
hooking these two people up and
Me
making
too.
this go forward. I don't know how the rest of the board feels.
Yep.
I'm fine with it.
Yep.
I think that it'll be up to, or should be left up to Chief Mary Beth, the final decision, just like with her officers. She's gonna have to work with them.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that we need a officer, and we have one, and I think they have talked anyway. I don't know
They
if
have.
and she's okay with working with her? Yeah, I thought so too.
And I think the both of them should work out the fine details
Yep,
and bring
I
a
do too. I agree with
presentation to
Bobby.
the board to
Yep.
move this forward.
Yep,
It sounds good.
yep, I agree.
Can you relay that?
Yes, I will take care
Do
of
we
it.
need a motion? No, sounds great to me.
So you
Do
will
you-
talk to Mary Beth to have her get in touch with, if they've already been in touch, that's great. Just
This
work
was
out the
before,
fine details.
Yeah,
and
take and work out the details. and then-
make a presentation to the board, but I think what Mary Beth has written up here is great.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay.
Is it okay if I pass this on to the person, or?
You can, but I would like Mary Beth to make the initial contact.
Absolutely, then I'll, then I won't do it.
Okay.
Okay, yep, sounds
We
great
all
to me.
got the statistics for January.
Yep. And those were basically a total of 105 incidents, 12 tickets, and 18 arrests.
Wow,
Those were mostly in DUI land.
Probably.
what, the
Can
12
we
quick
clarify,
tickets?
in front of the gates with protesters, not with employees?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I
for
don't know,
that
I heard something about you,
miscommunication, but yes.
and it's all over town.
Which leads us to the open air parade ordinance. A number of weeks ago, I sent you Richard's finished product. There were concerns about that. That's when Katrina went back and looked for this old one and then tried to incorporate the two. Did all of you have a chance to look at what some of those concerns were, specifically that it seemed like too much of the burden was on the police chief?
As well as the person putting in the parade permit. The,
But who would we put, who would share in the burden, though?
you turn around and the person puts in a parade permit and they ask for permission to have an event. Once that's in, and basically you lay out the envelope, the rules of engagement, anybody stepping outside of that rules of engagement, those individuals stepping outside that rules of engagement would be penalized themselves, not the parade organizer. Because a parade organizer could say is, you need to walk this line, turn left after 50 feet, and they all turn right.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
So if
Yep.
and if they were saying, no, you can't do that, you shouldn't penalize them, it's only the people
That
that
break
get
the law.
arrested,
Right.
and then the fine
I
should
agree.
be commensurate with the costs that are incurred by the town. So if there's a $500 fee for basically administratively having to process that individual through the whole process, you charge them $500, because you can say is, this is the cost of the town, this is the fine. They're equal. It's a natural penalty. And citizens, you can't say under alpha there, under Article 1 alpha, you can't say citizens. People was good. Because if you say citizens, well, we're not a
Yeah,
citizen of
'cause
the town.
that's right. It would have to be people. So who changed that?
That was Katrina that marked this up.
Okay, can I ask why we changed it from 50 to 25? Are we making it a rule that you can't have more than 25 people?
No, what you basically are saying is that when you have to put in a parade permit, if it's reasonably to expect that you're gonna have more than 25. Because one of the things is if you were to say, is it more than 3, then it's a violation of the Constitution.
Yeah, absolutely. Why are we taking out, it's okay to nitpick? Sorry. Why are we taking out that they shall walk single file? Because we do not have a sidewalk and in the middle of the road. If we don't say that they have to walk single file, then they're in the middle of the road when you're going up through. They don't get out of the road. They play their tom-toms and whatever else, and they stand in the road. They do not move over.
Where
So-
are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Article 5, number 2.
Yeah.
So that's where we take out the part that says no person shall cause a motor vehicle to be driven between them.
See, well, that's what happens. I mean, I'm not kidding you.
Well, I know what happens. I've seen it.
Yep. So I don't know why we're taking that out when I really think that's important. They should walk single file because it can cause an accident, people. And it's not just them. They would have originated it, but the people, they don't obey the traffic laws anymore. If they're on your side, they don't care. They're going to go on this side. Whether the other person coming at them has the right to be down that side of the road, they're going to take it anyway. It's a frightening thing.
I think that I would leave in Article 5, number 2, and add is that, and all participants in a parade shall walk in a single file towards facing traffic while on the town highway unless the sidewalk allows participants
Yes.
to walk 2 or more abreast. They should be walking
Yes, according to
against traffic and bicycle riding with traffic. I'm not sure I'd have the police chief making the decision. I'd actually think that they can get from the parade permit from the police chief or the town clerk, but it should be approved by us.
I thought that was in here.
it is, but she took it out. It says that no person shall organize, promote, or participate in any parade or open air meeting unless a permit stricken from it is, therefore has been obtained from the town clerk after approval by the police chief. She's got in there, therefore shall be obtained by the police chief, and I think that the other was better. And take the police chief out of there, only upon approval of the police chief or whatever. I like that. So would that mean that Article 7 then would be back to
File an application with the town clerk.
Yeah, because it would, you know what I mean, it would,
Yeah.
if we're gonna go back to the town clerk with approval,
Town
they,
clerk acted as the secretary to the select board.
yeah. And, you know, I mean, maybe maybe something in there should be said about, you know, during regular town clerk hours. So in other words, they can't say, well, we came down, you weren't here, blah, blah. You know, we have regular hours, you come during our regular hours or something. I mean, I don't know if you
No, I
want to
hear
get that
what you're saying.
specific, but,
You can't go in on a Friday to try and get a permit for
Right.
Sunday because the town clerk's office is not open on Fridays.
right, yeah.
Well, the other thing is you can also say is it's going to be, instead of It says 20 days, right?
20
In order
days,
to
yes.
basically try to make sure that you're
Yeah.
going to be able to get it before the next select board meeting. So if somebody were to,
It's the 20th, the 21st or something like that, I think, 21st. 20th, maybe? I don't know, I can't see from here, but I think it's 20th. It is, because I'm going to be putting that paper, working on that paper, those two, I'm trying to get it out by the end of the week, but, whoops, I won't be able to.
So, the first step the select board must take after adopting an amendment to an ordinance is to record its actual adoption and the amended ordinance into its meeting minutes.
Where are you seeing that?
On this.
Oh.
'Cause we need to get this process rolling.
why? I'm just curious.
Because I believe there's going to be a number of activities that may require this in the month of March.
Remember, you have to warn it for 30 days.
Right.
Have the meeting, and then let it sit for 90 days afterwards.
Well,
Yeah,
is it 90 days?
90 days.
I thought it was
It's a
45.
120-day process.
I knew it was a long
We're
time. I
already
didn't know, I
way
don't
over.
about the 90 days, but,
I didn't know about the 90 days.
no. I knew there was, I thought it was
I knew it was
45.
30 plus the 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying, 45 days total, but I don't know. I may be wrong.
Let's see.
Excuse me for a moment, that's okay.
So the process starts with the drafting of the ordinance, and it's reviewed by the legislative body. The body then adopts the ordinance formally by a majority vote of its members, ensuring that the action and a copy of the proposed. Okay. This ordinance was adopted on, give the date, it will take effect on, name the day 60 days from the first date, unless a petition signed by at least 5% of the voters of Vernon is filed within the midst of the town clerk by name the day 44 days from the first cited above, asking for a vote to disapprove the ordinance. So it's not, you gotta warn it, and then you've got 60 days after that, so it's 90 days.
Okay.
So, all I'm saying is that when you said that, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood is that even, albeit that it's a good idea to have it in place for whatever comes up in the future, but at the same time, it's not gonna be ready for March.
My mistake. I thought it was
birthday.
45.
Won't be ready for my birthday.
Nor mine.
Nor mine. So that means we still have time to fine tune this.
Yep.
So what we'll do then is, based on the recommendations I heard tonight, we'll have her redo that, then get it vetted through the attorney, and then start again. Does that sound okay with everyone?
Yes.
Chris, I'm sure she'll be fine with it.
Wants to purge my folder.
Okay, drum roll. How
Um,
many days?
90.
It was 90.
So-
Well, no.
45, I thought.
30
60
and-
days after
30 and
that.
60,
Ah, 30 and 60,
not
I'm right.
30 and 90.
I guess I was wrong.
So I made a proposal that, given we're not going to get into the time frame we had hoped, we will have Katrina make the necessary changes that we discussed tonight.
Okay.
Give it to Richard and start again.
Okay, when will she give it to Richard? Because I would like a little bit longer to go through it and pass by, just tomorrow. And I'll pass it through, because there's a couple more we didn't get to before.
Okay, well,
And
you've
question.
taken the notes. Can you get with Katrina to discuss
Yeah.
all these changes and then?
Yep, as long as it's not tomorrow night. I just can't do anything tomorrow night.
I do have a bit of new business here. In my folder, there was a request for the use of the town gazebo.
This time of year?
No, July 14th.
Oh,
They want to get on the schedule.
For a wedding with an
we have a
estimated-
schedule?
Yeah.
We do.
120 to 150 people. I believe I spoke with this person last year.
Big crowd.
I think we need to inform the police department about that, just to make sure that they're okay.
It's a parade.
It's a parade.
No, it's a wedding.
Oh,
Wait a minute. Open air meeting.
open air meeting, exactly. It's a parade.
Pending approval from the police and fires, is everyone okay with this? Or do you want me to get approval first and then bring it back to the next meeting?
I'm good and would make a motion to that effect.
Yeah, huh?
I would second that.
So
If we did.
pending approval. Was that a motion and a second?
Yes, it
All in
was.
all in one breath.
Pending approval from the police department and the fire department,
The select board approves
the select board will approve the wedding application for the above named party
Use of the gazebo on July 14th.
for use of the town gazebo on July 14th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Does anybody else have any business to bring forth tonight?
I left my paper at home.
Oh,
I'm trying to think.
You want to, did you mention, I don't think you mentioned anything, so I'm not sure when this is going to go out about the Thursday night. If this airs,
Absolutely right.
if this airs tomorrow, then
I-
we could,
Two things I'd like to mention. Yes, Thursday night, I believe there was an article in today's paper. There will be a fundraiser for the Pratt family. It is a spaghetti dinner at the Vernon Elementary School, which starts at 6:30. A number of businesses have donated things for an auction. It should be a very good time. Well, pending the circumstances.
it'll be a nice community event.
Yes.
I have a personnel thing, but it would have to go in executive session, and it's, I think it's something that you all should know.
Okay, finally, there was, the school board had their meeting regarding their budget, unbeknownst to me. So that means we're not having one in conjunction with them this year. Do we still want to have our own, or do we want to just take it to town meeting?
Well, we didn't get many people last year, but it's still, even still, we can drop it if nobody shows up. But I think we should have the opportunity to present a budget before the town, so that we don't have to explain, line item by line item by line item at town meeting.
Well,
I mean, we
Still-
will have to, but
Not necessarily.
if nobody comes, we may,
can-
but.
No, but I'm saying even at town meeting, if you do it by exception, you can say is that anybody have a question on page whatever,
Huh.
and just do it by page
We do that too.
instead.
There's been years where we've tried to go through it line item by line item, and people got mad, and then there's been
That
other
was,
years.
no. I remember that because in 2008, we did it for the first time, or actually 2009, but we had a pretty good turnout at the thing. And then when we started to go line by line, I believe it was Jeff Morrison stood up and said, wait a minute, they had the opportunity to come, you don't need to do that.
It's the will of the board, whatever.
I don't care. I like your idea too.
Well, I was saying, the other thing too would be is that if people wanted to, they could express and let a board member know that they would like to come. And, you know, we can schedule one. We could do it the Monday after, what's it, the 20, today's the 6th, so it would be the 27th.
Yep.
We could do it on the 27th if people showed an interest in it. So they could let one of us know, and we'll basically reserve a seat for them at our presentation.
Yeah. And we'll only have
think we
the crew over
outnumbered
there
them
set up
last time.
5 chairs.
Several times. So is that okay with everybody? We'll schedule an event for the 27th.
What time?
Pending.
6.
We could ask the token public and see what they think, if that's a reasonable thing to do.
What do we need chairs for? Can we sit at the tables we got in the back?
Yeah, that would get my
Like,
husband
tear it down,
home
redo it?
at a decent hour.
Yeah, considering.
Right.
I just think it's important that we have it.
I was saying is that
Who's
it's
gonna
At least give them the
I might be
option.
hungry.
pizza.
Yes.
Okay.
So what, 6,
I
7?
think that's what I'm having tomorrow night.
7, 6?
I'd
Hello?
rather do it earlier than
Six?
7.
No,
6 would be.
what I was saying is that
If,
if people express an interest and we get more than, say, 5 people, we will have a special presentation. But if people don't express an interest in it, then we wouldn't do it.
Couldn't we do it right here?
You know what, I really absolutely think we could. There's the amount of people that we've had, we haven't had a big, we're going to hold a budget meeting on the 27th.
I'd do
at
it
the
here.
town. Yeah,
As long as we have a
Thank you.
projector. I agree with you.
yeah, thank you.
okay, so be it.
No, that just gets Robert home on a decent hour. So,
All right,
true.
so we have a personnel issue.
I don't know if we have an issue or not, but I think there's something that you people need to be well aware of.
Sorry.
So we need to go in executive session.
Might want,
Yes.
I might want to have one too.
Do we have to come out, or can we go in on 2 at once so that we don't have to move in and out?
If you're going to have one, I feel like I need to come up with one just so that I can have one.
Okay,
We
so,
can do
we're-
2 on 1.
all right.
In 1.
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Howe.
I move that we go into executive session on a personnel matter, on 2 personnel matters, that the disclosure of which at this time might be detrimental to the town and/or individuals involved.
Second?
Individual or
It's been
individuals.
moved and seconded to go into executive session on 2 personnel matters for which the disclosure of at this time may be detrimental to the town and/or the individuals involved. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did you guys have anything else? Okay, thank you.
Good night.
We just wanted you guys to feel like somebody's listening.
Well, it's been a whole year, not too many have.
We didn't have anybody calling in.
Maybe they'll all come next time.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think so.
lose it.
I know, that's the thing, and I wish we could just have a big
Well, I don't
thing like
lose
this
it,
and
but
leave
I-
it in here for
Well, I
me.
I've got one that's about this thick that says Vernon Selectboard on it. And I've been
Well, I
going
want
to bring
that. I know, but you know, the thing
it, which
is,
I'm gonna do next year.
yeah, well, the thing
And then
is
she's
that
keeping it all in it.
I think that we should tell her to keep it all in here. We need, just move it back, keep moving it back, and put in there, then put the month separations in there, and get bigger binders.
Well, I
think
have a
it's
huge binder.
Well, she can get us some, but,
All right, we went into executive session at 8:15, came out at 8:34 with no action taken. Is there any other business for the board tonight? Move to adjourn.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded, we adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, everyone.
hey,